This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is a man that really needs no introduction. He is one of the most successful contrarian resource speculators in the space, none other than Mr. Rick Rule. Rick, it's great to have you back on. How are you?
Pleasure to be back with you, sir. Thank you for having me back.
Well, listen, we had some great feedback from the last time that you and I chatted, and a lot of it centered around the Rick Rule Symposium and the conference the excellent conference that you put on. I spoke with a mentor and friend of mine, Mr. Jeff Phillips, and my business partner and friend, Mr. Nick Hodge, who both attended, and they had nothing but glowing remarks about the networking, the quality of the presenters, the quality of the companies that were there, and just top to bottom phenomenal networking. So congratulations on that. I would love to get your take on how things went.
Well, thank you for all that. The only thing that was missing was you. We hope we can correct that problem next year. Uh, the conference was a success. It's important to note that that conference is almost 30 years old.
Mm.
If you do something for that long and you make it a little bit better every year, after 3 decades, it gets pretty good. And in fairness, we were pretty good. We we do things differently over time. When we do big picture, as an example, macro commentary, we don't have failed journalists or even successful journalists. We have players. So we had Daniela DiMartino Booth, uh, you know, former partner, uh, at Goldman Sachs talking about Wall Street. We had Jim Rickards,
Yeah.
former uh, general counsel for long-term capital management. We try to have players. David Stockman, who talked about the budget, he ran the Office of Management and Budget under Reagan. Real guys. And then from there, we divert to analysts who have made money in natural resources for 3 decades or 4 decades, people who have seen bull markets and bear markets, not some junior from some brokerage firm that paid to be a sponsor that, failed as a tech analyst and failed as a supermarket analyst. You get where I'm going.
Absolutely.
The other thing that we do is we don't permit any companies on our floor that aren't owned in the accounts of the
Mm.
conference promoters. Now, there's no guarantee that because I own a stock, it goes up, sadly, but there is a guarantee that unlike any other conference on the planet, every single exhibitor has been vetted. You know them before you invest your time and treasure and reputation in them. And finally, unlike any other investment conference on the planet, we give our attendees, whether they attend live or live stream, two things: conference tapes, which they can play for a year, because there's no way you're going to get all the stuff that happened
Yeah.
over 4 days in 4 days. And we also give them a gold-plated money-back guarantee. If you think for any reason, whether you attended live or live stream, they didn't get your money's worth, we give you your money back.
Hmm.
The truth is, we had well over 2,000 attendees between live and live stream, and two people didn't think they got their money's worth.
That's incredible.
But it is our guarantee that we're going to work for you, and we're going to make it better next year. Make no mistake. One of the things we do, Gerardo, that I'm delighted that my competition doesn't do, is we pull the hell out of our attendees and our exhibitors.
Hmm.
What I found is that rich people are very generous with advice as to how you can serve them better and make them richer.
Imagine
And
that.
we will get good ideas this year that we will implement next year, to be sure.
No, listen, impressive all the way around. As you said in the last interview, you mentioned you have people there that have been and are in the trenches, right? And
Right.
and eating your own cooking, I think, in our business and in any business is critical to success. Doesn't guarantee it, as you mentioned, but it absolutely is a necessary ingredient. Speaking of eating your own cooking, the last time we chatted, we talked about Empress royalty. All
Right.
that's happened since is the company with the very insightful competitive advantages that you cited the last time has hit new all-time highs, has delivered another phenomenal quarter. And so I know that Empress was one of the companies that was vetted. I know it's one of the companies that we're both biased about because we're shareholders, but I'd love your take on the recent news, the execution, and where you see the company as it touches new all-time highs moving forward, given the precious metals bull market that we seem to be in.
I got along a couple years ago because I was impressed with Alexandra Woodyear, the CEO.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've known her dad for decades, and I know that fruit doesn't fall far from the tree.
Mm,
She started apprenticing under her father when she was 14 years of age. So, despite the fact that she's fairly young, she's been in the racket a long, long time.
yeah.
When I bought the company, she made the case that the company was selling for half what it was worth, and that because of their connection to Endeavor, they had a durable competitive advantage in terms of recycling the cash. She made the case to me that the company was undervalued because the two royalties that were closest to production were not producing, and there was some market uncertainty around them. And if I
Mm.
was willing to anticipate success, that I would enjoy a capital gain, which has happened. I would argue that the company is no longer as dramatically undervalued as it was because the stock is up by 300% from where I bought it. That's not a complaint, by the way, Gerardo. Uh, but the other advantages, this incredible management team, the competitive advantage they have in royalty acquisition because of
Mm,
their attachment to Endeavor Financial, for the record, who've raised $8 billion in
yeah.
resource-based businesses. And those two things, I think, and the franchise that she now enjoys in the investment community, which means that when they identify a good royalty, she will be able to finance it because she's done what she said she was going to do in the last 3 years. Suggests that although the company is not as dramatically undervalued as it was, it is much better positioned to go forward. A lot of it will have to do with her deployments in the next 12 months. If she is able to demonstrate to the market that she's able to recycle the revenues that she's enjoying now from decisions that were made 5 years ago and redeploy the capital, increase the size, scope, and scale of the company, this has the potential to be a real winner.
Impressive stuff. I know Alex presents a heck of a case. It sounds like she was speaking your language when she presented to you, and congrats to her and the team in just exceptional execution thus far. And I anticipate and suspect that execution will continue. A company that is new to my radar, and again, I am a biased shareholder here, and I know you are as well because you recently led a financing with the company, is Kincora Copper. And I am very much a copper and gold bull. I love finding companies that have big ideas and partner funded exploration, mitigating dilution. And I know you, of all people, find the project generator model as an exceptional model when executed correctly. So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you your thoughts on Kincora Copper.
I talked to our mutual friend Jeff Phillips some years ago about prospect generation, and probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I said, the idea that you build a company not with sole risk exploration, but rather by third party exploration is just good arithmetic.
Mm,
I have, uh, prior to this last 5 years, as of 5 years ago, if my memory serves me correctly, I had invested in 65 or 66 prospect generators. And I had participated as a consequence of that in 23 discoveries.
hmm,
That's a sort of a 40% success ratio.
yeah.
In a world where the economic geologists tell you 1 in 3,000 exploration efforts becomes a mine, that's 3 standard deviations better in terms of expectation. And some of those hits from prospect generation, things like Arequipa, 30 cents to
Mm.
$30 in 19 months, they were real wins. So if I can find a management team that has enough respect from the industry that they can generate intellectual capital ideas and attract physical capital from sophisticated investors. I really like it. But one of the things I really like, Gerardo, is despite the fact that I like doing securities analysis and I like employing the Brent Cooks and the Justin Tolmans of the world to do geology for me, what I particularly like is when the due diligence is done for me for
Hmm.
free by Rio Tinto or Newmont. When a major
Yeah.
mining company farms into an exploration project, it means that the company who the junior that's farmed out the project has access to 2 or 300 earth scientists that work for the big company for free. Uh, I really enjoy the fact that my due diligence is done by somebody who doesn't send me a bill as a consultant. but rather writes me a check as a joint venture partner. Kincora is exploring the Macquarie Arch in Australia, which is a place that I've been familiar with and spent money in for 40 years.
Right.
They're employing a lot of intellectual capital with a team that's made enough discoveries there that the industry listens. There's
Hmm.
basically nobody in the world in the mining that won't return these guys' phone calls.
Yeah.
And 4 times fairly recently, people have said yes and written them big checks, which will result in a carried interest for them. So, as you suggest, big ideas from smart people in promising terrain with high quality joint venture partners. A lot of people seem to invest, if that's the right word, in junior mining companies because they want excitement.
Yeah.
That's not what I want. I want to make money. People criticize prospect generators by saying that they're boring. And I would suggest that the contra word to boring is terror. And I would prefer not to be terrified. I would prefer to be bored. And the consequence of that is that the prospect generators as an exploration model is a model I am particularly attracted to.
If I don't bring this up, our mutual friend and a mentor of mine, Mr. Jeff Phillips, will let me hear about it. I have to touch on the share structure because one of the things that really stood out on the term sheet was the fact that the stock would be locked up for at least 12 months, right? And so that to me, along with the share consolidation, I think is really, really attractive. I'd love your thoughts on that.
Well, Jeff has taught me something. It's important that old guys like me learn from young people. I've always been a value investor. I've always looked at the market capitalization of the company relative to its liquidation value and relative to what I think the value could be in the 3 to 5 year time frame. And I haven't paid much attention to structure. What I learned from Jeff is that structure is important because it
Mm,
affects subsequent cost of capital. If 60 or 70% of the stock can't be sold, the gap between the bid and the ask, which is to say the price at which they raise additional capital, is much more efficient. And in that sense, I'm an ideal customer for these prospect generators. A 12-month hold doesn't matter to me because I'm anticipating likely holding the stock for 5 years. But I've now come to understand that the market structure has nothing to do with me. My job is to use the market structure. And it is almost certain that Kincora will have to come back to market. It's almost certain that Empress will have to come back to market. And the fact that the effective float of Kincora is 30% of the total
yeah,
float
yeah.
suggests that when they have to come back to market, they will likely be able to do so at a better price, which lowers my cost of capital as a long-term shareholder over time. So I've become a subscriber, if you will, to the structure theory propounded by Jeff.
No, listen, well said. Couldn't have articulated it better myself. Before I let you go, where can people, because people can still benefit from all of the presenters and companies that were at your conference, where can people find the material for those that weren't able to attend, like myself, that want to digest the many, many, many guests that you had?
A couple ways to do it. Maybe the best way, because you get an added bonus, is if you go to Rule Investment Media and list your natural resource stocks. I'll rank them for free.
Hmm.
Put in the comment section Symposium recordings, and we'll send you information on the Symposium recordings. Alternatively, you can go to Rule Symposium 2025. It's important to note that there were 55 hours of programming
Incredible.
over 4 days at the conference, more than anybody could possibly absorb. It's important to note, too, that there were lots of timeless lessons at the conference. Hearing David Stockman, who ran the Office of Management Budget under Reagan, talk about Trump's big, beautiful bill, uh, hearing Nomi Prinz, hearing Daniela DiMartino Booth, hearing all of my living legends uh, talk about how they built multi-billion-dollar mining companies from scratch. And the same guarantee that existed before the conference exists now. If you buy the recordings and listen to them and you think for any reason that they aren't worth the price I charged you for them, I'll give you your money back. It's the only riskless transaction in investing.
It's a heck of a guarantee, folks. Rick, always a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for your time. Excited for our next chat, but thankful for this one. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, and I look forward to having you in Boca Raton in 2026.
Looking forward to it, sir. Cheers. Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.